Hey Gwenters, and welcome back for another episode of Gone Gwenting. Now, if you've watched any of my recent videos, you'll know that we just finished up our beginner series. I know for a lot of the YouTube watchers out there, you didn't really care about any of those videos, so I personally am very excited to get into this next section. This is going to be for intermediate videos. And to be honest with you, these are things that I still am learning, even as I progress my way up the ladder. And so I think some descriptions and attention to detail on these videos will be helpful even for pro ranked players. But for everyone else, these are also important tools for you to learn as you acquire new cards and build new decks. So let's start off this intermediate video race. Alright, so what I want to cover today is the road ahead, and I want to title this video Keeping the End Picture in Mind, right? So the goal in Gwent is different for everyone, I think. You might be somebody who is just a collector. You want to get all of the cards. You might be somebody who wants to be a completionist and do all of the contracts. You might be somebody who wants to be ranked competitively. For all of those things, building decks is going to be important. As you want to get cards, completing contracts is going to get you more keys, which will get you more cards. Getting more cards will help you be more competitive, which will get you ranked, and being more competitive will help get you more keys, and will also, as you help you get those cards, which will help you complete more contracts. So they all feed into each other. If you're somebody who just plays for fun, I think that getting new cards increases and elevates the fun, regardless of where you are in the game. I think as I've been working with a couple of new players, building those first few new decks gives you a totally different perspective on the game than does just playing with those starter decks, which candidly suck. But let's get into this. Today I want to cover one of my favorite decks and describe to you a little bit about the ranking system, how it works, and how you can make it work for you. So, this deck I have called All Out Charge. And the reason for that is because it is heavily based in charge boosts in the final round. But in the first round, I try to base it off of using charges to get a lot of damage in, to have a lot of suppression on the enemy side. That way they can't get any big first round engines going, and they have to either use their leader ability or drop some big cards in the first round in order to pull off the win. Or they don't do that and we can push them in second round. The one weakness I will say for this deck is getting pushed in second round. It has two really good rounds worth of cards, but it doesn't have a great middle round worth of cards. There are some other decks that are more superior at a first round win, second round push, and then a third round victory, or even just a straight up win first round, then second round. And we'll get into those decks in my next few videos. They're a lot of fun, but require a lot of tactical precision. Okay, so first thing, the build in this deck, you're going to see some of these higher cards are actually not the critical cards for this deck for final round. The final round cards, in my opinion, are Donimir, Dandelion, Vysogota of Corvo, and if you can pull it off, keep one of either Illyrian Arbalist or Redanian Archer. Some of the swing cards are going to be Bloody Baron, Adalia, Prince Anseus, and Visigard. And then Priscilla is in here to boost up in either one of those rounds, or often, honestly, in my opinion, as lock fodder. And what I mean by that is sometimes you're going to find, especially when you go up against annoying Nilfgaard decks, you just need cards to throw at them for them to obsessively lock, right? You just need to kind of be like, oh, here's a shiny object, go chase it. And they'll totally do that. I got a win using Priscilla as total fodder. I had no charges I had no card that I could use charges on, but I threw Priscilla out first, and they were like a rabid dog, threw all their best cards at her to try to take her down uselessly. And I got the win because of that. So she, in my opinion, is great locked fodder. But if you can get her in a strong game, I think of like there's a Kikimor deck or a Rat Swarm deck right now that are really annoying. She can feed those charges to your units that can clear the rats Some of these cards can attack any unit, which is really helpful. So Redanian Archer is enemy unit, but you'll see on Lyrian Arbalest it's damage a unit. So if you keep Lyrian Arbalest for whichever round they're going to go big on with the rat spawn, you can use Lyrian Arbalest to actually clear those rats from your own side, which can be extremely helpful. And then I think also if you get into a late game with a Kikimor Queen where they're using Caranthir to spawn a Kikimor Queen, then kill Caranthir and spawn another Kikimor Queen, and then plant a third Kikimor Queen. See my bodybuilder video, the new leader Death Wish leader ability gives us the craziest boost by adding a third Kikimor Queen. But I think if you've seen those decks, you'll know how crazy out of control they get. Priscilla can make them look like donkey turd. I mean, like, she will feed so many charges to Vysogota that you will be boosted out the yin yang. They can be a little bit weak to Geralt, Yerden, who will reset all the units. But I think in general, it's still a very durable build. And the reason for that is this Vysogota Dandelion combo, right? So just to describe these to you, if you're a newer player and you're kind of figuring out what to get, Dandelion and Priscilla are part of a contract of familiar characters. If you've played Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt, you'll know them. If you've watched the show, you'll know Dandelion or Jaskier, which is Polish for Daisy. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, my Polish friends. But he has been translated into Dandelion in English. But Dandelion will, when he's in the ranged row, he's going to boost an allied unit by 1 for each charge they gain, okay? Then we come down here to Vysogota. As long as he's in the ranged row, he is going to be able to boost a unit by 1, but notably, his charge will increase by 1 whenever either player plays a card. So, key point here, a lot of players mistake when they're attacking me. He doesn't actually have to be in the ranged row to get a charge. So if Dandelion is still in your ranged row, and Vysogota gets row swapped, say by like a Vrahi Dragoon that you can see in your starter decks, those Scoia'tael elves who on horses who will switch units from one row to the other, Vysogota will still get his charges, and he'll still get boosted every time either you or your opponent plays a card. So if you play, think of like a Vivaldi Bank as a good example for Novigrad, right? So you get 3 coins, you get to look through your cards, and you choose one card to play, or Dandelion Poet, where you draw a card and play a card. Those are 2 card plays, 2 charges to Vysogota. He's going to get boosted by 2 points, and importantly, he is also, if he's still in your range row, going to be able to boost one of your units by 1. He is a phenomenal complement to the Tridem Infantry. So you remember we used this in our Northern Realm starter deck where we had Temerian Drummer and Anna Strenger. I like to have them here for a first or second round or a late game all-out push. But you place them next to Tridem Infantry, he gets boosted at the end of turn, does 1 random damage to an enemy unit, right? You use Vysogota on him, you build up a bunch of charges on Vysogota, and you can just drop them all on Tridem Infantry, boost him up to 12 points and do 8 damage all at once. It's a big play, and it is mean and it is nasty. And then Donimir is in here because you're going to get attacked, right? I mean, like, it's the thing with Northern Realms decks typically is they're fueled engines that need time to build up their core. Once they have it, they cannot be stopped, right? So people are going to try to cut you off at the knees just to try to keep you from making forward progress. So Donimir's in here as a defender. For those of you who aren't familiar with defenders, essentially it's a status that makes the enemy opponent attack them before they can attack anyone else. So if they use a Purify, they can get the defender off and then attack one of your cards. But I found that if you can get your cards out in the right time, you can make this really work for you. So some other cards, late game cards, I think for you guys to build regardless. I love Queen Adalia. She's going to spawn and play a base copy of a bronze unit from your hand and give it shield. She works phenomenally with Lyrian Arbalest because as you guys have played them in the starter deck, they get a charge every time you play a unit with orders. So you get a free Lyrian Arbalest, and then if you have another one or even 2 in your hand, you're going to get another one for them. I also really like, not a lot of respect for these guys, but I really like these siege supports. They get, if you play in a melee row, they give 1 charge to an allied unit. Ranged row boosts an allied unit by 1, and then they can give a unit zeal, which can be really helpful for those arbalists if you need to get them off at the right time. Or in the final round, if you're having a hard time boosting your formation units with Inspired, they can give that. You can play them to the back row, get them the boost from the formation, and then give them zeal from that siege support as well. And then we also have in here Crow's Eye. We have a few purifies actually. So we have Crow's Eye, which will purify a unit and boost it by 3. That's a 4 provision card. Peller is a good all-round card for purifying. Notify it's a unit. Notice that. So you can purify one of their defenders to get around them if you need to do that, or you can do it to your own card. And then we also have Aguara here. I really like Aguara. She's a good card to keep in hand for the fact that she is a high base value. She has 9 provision cost, so she is kind of expensive, but she gives you 2 benefits. One, you can lock an enemy unit, or your own unit if you want to. That can be useful if they spawn a cow carcass. You can lock the cow carcass to keep it from exploding and poisoning the units on the side. You can also remove a unit's lock from using range. So she can basically work as a limited purify unit to purify a unit's lock, and she can also lock a unit. So good flexibility there. I think she is well worth the investment. And then some of these other cards, Bloody Baron is going to do a reset. If he is boosted, he's going to give the unit bleeding for the duration of the amount boosted. Prince Anseus is a great murder card if they play something big you just want to get rid of. If he's inspired, he's going to duel an enemy unit. Basically, the calculation here is he can kill an 8-point unit without dying himself. That's because he'll do 5 damage to them. They'll do 3 damage back to him, and then he will still have 2 health left. He'll do 2. They'll do 1. Then he'll do the final 1 and kill them off. So he'll survive with 1 hit point. Obviously, you can kill anything else. If you don't have a boost and you need to kill a 4-point card, he can do that straight up with formation, because he'll get zeal played in the melee row. So for you newer players, this is going to seem like a lot, but I think watching how this final endgame deck works is going to give you perspective. It's going to give you a better sense of, oh, I got a really good card that's going to be used for a lot of things, and what cards are useful in a lot of different ways. I would say from this deck, Adalia, Anseus, Reynard are really good flexible cards in a lot of ways, and you can always pair Vysogota with those cards. I think Vysogota and Reynard make for a great combo. Vysogota makes Vysogota broken, and Dandelion makes him OP, right? Because the biggest reason here is Vysogota is going to gain charges equal to the number of boosted allied units. So if you play him as final play, you have 9 boosted units. Dandelion is going to give him 9 points, right? Because he's going to get played. He's going to get 9 charges straight up for the boosted allied units. Plus he starts with 1. So he'll actually get the 9 boost plus the 1. So he'll get 10 points. So his base value is 5, but he'll be worth 15 points straight up plus 10 damage. 25-point final play. And it is, because these are charges, you can use him to direct specific attacks at cards. You'll note, though, that I did not put him in the required final round play, because I think he can be flexible in ruining mid-game play as well, and you don't always necessarily need him, though I do really like him. And finally, I also put Siege Ladder in here. I haven't actually used it yet, but I was getting annoyed at people moving Dandelion off ranged row, so I felt like, this would be a good card to get him back. He's also worth 4 base value, so not bad there. And then he also, if you play him between 2 soldiers, he's gonna boost the unit by 2 anyway. So you could use him to boost Trident Infantry, do a damage, get 2 points, and he's worth 4 as well. So again, a good kind of rounding card to put in there. And I think I would keep him in hand if you're going up against like these Scoia'tael guerrilla tactics decks, right? Where you know that they're going to move you whether you like it or not. All right, so let's get into this. So the thing to keep in mind here is those cards, if you get them, start building this deck. And you don't need all of these cards to make this deck awesome, right? I've gone through several iterations of it this last month, and especially during this season. I have heavily favored Northern Realms for the first time. I found that this deck has been really flexible against the current metas, as well as the anti-metas. Some random decks can cause it some problems. One of the biggest ones I found that it struggles against is is the Ursine Ritual Skellige deck with Ceres and Lippy Gudmund, also with Morkbarg, so you can dump them into your graveyard and back to your other pile. I've won, but I've lost more than I've won, so I think that's one to look out for. But we're going to get into this. One thing I did want to cover, the thing you want to keep in mind, as I talked about in my do's and don'ts for beginners video, we are currently at rank 1, right? I need to win 2 more games to complete Geralt's Visage here, and then I'll be able to have that trinket to put up in my little avatar. But importantly, I'm 3 games from moving into pro rank. So this will hopefully be another step in that journey. If I lose this one, I'll have to recomplete this, and this one, depending on how many I lose in a row. So here's hoping we can keep the win streak. I think I'm currently at like a 6-game win streak right now with this deck, or some iteration of it. So let's give it a try. The stresses of life, you know? So one thing I did want to add about this deck that's really fun as well, it has a lot of flexibility in both self-boosting as well as attacking enemies. So we're going to go up against this other Northern Realms deck. I have not seen somebody use Inspired Zeal for a while, so this will be an interesting play, I think. Alright, so I think I'm not super worried about him locking. I do want to get some cards out that get me some damage. He might switch rows, so I think we might actually keep this guy. And then Siege Support will give me a little bit of attack, but I'm not so concerned about that. And we'll save Peller for later on. Alright, we got Vysogota. Oh, the one thing I did not cover, the leader ability. And you're going to see how it works in the 3rd round. But this leader ability, in my opinion, is... I don't know I would call it OP for Arena, but for a Northern Realms deck, I think it might be one of my favorite all-time leader abilities. Alright, so one of my favorite plays here. I'll get out a Redanian Archer, boost him up. They can lock him if they want, but that's kind of a waste of a lock. I mean, he does do damage over time, but now he's going to get boosted to 9 points. He will not lose his charges if he loses his armor, so if they attack him, he'll most likely survive because there's not very many cards that do 9 damage. And he's still low enough that Geralt can't kill him right off, and he has 2 charges ready to go for next round. If they don't remove his armor, he's going to keep getting charges every round. And if they do remove his armor, we have Radovid's Royal Guards here that we can play to the rear row, wait around, and then they can boost him by 2 and give him 2 armor if they are inspired, so they can help him get his barricade back. But right now, we just gotta see what this guy plays. One card that is really fun to use with Inspired Zeal can be... oh my gosh, Vernon Roach, Merciless, right? So he has Death Blow, 2 points. I actually had this deck originally with Vernon Roach. Total riot. I mean, that guy is a mean, lean fighting machine. You can get, I think I calculated this out, you can get him to be like a net 18-point play. And if you play Blue Stripes Scout, you can increase that by another 8 points, right? So he'll do 2 damage. If he gets Death Blow, he gets Zeal. So he'll play his, yep, here he goes. He's going to do it. So you're going to watch this happen. Yeah, this guy, he's a mean motherfucker, man. So yeah, he's going to give him Zeal, and then he's going to call out his other commando here. And then that right there, as you saw, he was at 3 points. He's at 21 now. I mean, he boosted these guys by 2. But this is just a phenomenal play, and it's a great weeding card to play out as well. Now I'm going to give back my archer his armor here, and then we need to start working on these guys. He is next round almost certainly going to play a card that will make my day a little annoying, but we'll get around it. Alright, I don't know how far he wants to go, so we're actually just going to play this drummer here, and then I think we're going to tweak around with this just a little bit. I think we'll probably go Siege Ladder just to move him down. I don't anticipate this guy having moving cards. There's not really any good ones in Northern Realms. Yeah, so here you go. So you play Blue Stripe Scout, and then Blue Stripe Scout is going to spawn a base copy of one of these Blue Stripes Commandos. and then they're gonna call it down to that row again. So look, he's got 29 points now against my 18. So let's see what we can do here. So I would like to get the flexibility of getting a boost, but I don't feel desperate this round. I think I'm just gonna kind of mess around with him to try to get something going on. Move this guy down, get him a 2 boost, and then we'll just start plugging away. Probably should attack these guys to remove those boosts. I think he might be trying to play a Drog deck. But for those of you who aren't familiar, that one basically relies on doing a bunch of damage to the enemy units, so you damage them all down to 1 and then finish them off. All right, I got to decide how hard I want to push this round, right? So we could play Reynard and then do Vysogota. I don't hate that option. If we play Reynard here, he's gonna get boosted. So let's actually do that. Let's force him to boost up. And now he and I are tied in after round boosts, so he's got to really make a move if he wants to make this work for him. The other problem that he has, blue stripe scouts have to be played to melee row, and he's gonna fill up his melee row. And as soon as he does that, he's kind of out of luck, right? But I think we can have a little bit of fun with this guy at this point. So this is gonna be our final play of the round, and Vysogota probably would have been better in the last round for some things, but I think in this case we can really just polish off this drummer, remove all characters with boosts, and then just damage one of these commandos. So it only gets us a 6-point lead, which I'm a bit nervous about. You guys know I don't like to get pushed all the way down to 4 cards, then fall behind. But I think he now has to make a 7-point play just to tie this round, and I haven't passed, so he actually has to make an 8-point play. So I like where we are right now. All right. So he's gonna have to dump something next round. I can decide whether or not I want to push. I'm kind of leaning against. He's probably gonna have a lot of engines, but I like my position with engines more. He only has 1 leader ability left. I have my big daddy-o still around. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I don't know how much he's gonna have lock. I think I would rather have Priscilla with this, Prince on Sais, and then Dahlia. So I'm gonna trust that he doesn't have one of those, and hope he doesn't have one of those, and then we'll pass this. All right. We got all the right cards, so I'm feeling pretty good about our position. All right, Pavetta makes things interesting. So she just shuffled back in all of his commandos. So she will recycle back all of those cards, a bronze card from the graveyard. So you can see he has no more commandos. And this blue striped scout he got for free. So he might have some interesting stuff that he wants to do there. We are in a phenomenal position with what we have, though. I'm going to trade out these guys, and we got another Arbalest. All right, so this is going to be... I feel bad for this guy. And you're going to find out why. All right, so he's going down, Blue Stripes Commando. He's going to play Zeal and call out his other guys on this. I am guessing he's going to go for Drog deck this time, and we are going to show him how useless that is. You're about to find out why this leader ability is broken here. We're going to play it first. And now it's going to allow me to play a Northern Realm card from my hand. We're going to start with Vysogota. And then I get to take a card from my deck. We're going to take on Sais. We're going to place Vysogota on the range row. Now, I use my leader ability to play that card, so I still get another card to play. I'm going to play down Donimir. Donimir is going to give me defense. Vysogota is here. He has 2 boosts. He's ready to go. He does not have a special leader ability, so even if he does a Purify or a Banishment, Vysogota is going to be safe for this immediate round. I think, yeah, Vincent Meese is going to reduce him down to 1 health, but he has no damage cards, and you're about to find out just how quickly we're going to be able to boost up cards with Vysogota, right? So we get Dandelion here. Dandelion is now going to passively boost Vysogota every round, and Vysogota is going to get Donimir back up. Notably, Donimir has a shield, so he's going to have to purify the shield or do 1 damage to him or waste 5 damage somehow, right? So we are in a phenomenally good place. The next move that we want to make, I think, I'd like to kill the drummer, and I'd like to get everybody else under control. Oh, I think we'll save on Seius to do that later. And Aguara we don't need to play right now. So let's get them under control. Let's start getting a Dahlia out here with these Lyrian Arbalists.
It will not be.
These Arbalists are also going to get charges every time we play another unit with orders, which we have a lot of. And let's just start spreading the love. Get everybody boosted up. And we're just gonna rain down holy hellhammer on this guy. We have both these Lyrian Arbalists. We still have our lock with our Aguara. And let's lock up this on a stringer. I don't want her going crazy. I don't have a way of killing her right yet. Although she'll get boosted to 5. Why don't you guys, let's show you how Prince on Seius works here. So we can play him to melee row. He's going to get his ability straight off the bat. We will now boost him up by 1. That gives him his inspired ability to duel. And we will kill on a stringer, no questions asked. Thank you for playing. And I'm actually going to save up these charges on my Lyrian Arbalist. He has no way of getting to him because of that defender. So I'm going to save him until he does a crazy play. Now that's a little bit annoying, but look, we had that shield on our Arbalist, so there's nothing he could do about that. I'm actually going to get out my on a stringer, I think, at this. Well, actually, let's actually do Priscilla. I want you guys to watch how this works too. Alright, so Priscilla gets Zeal. She has formation as well when she gets to play the front row. Oh, this is the other thing about this deck. Vysogota is going to pair super well with all of these Zeal cards. And she's just going to feed these charges right over here. We're going to use Arbalist to just take out his drummer. If he wants to boost up his Trident Infantry using something else, he can go for it. But I think, yeah, this guy saw the end writing on the wall. We get our next win. Not a lot that we had to do. And if you guys looked at what we still had left, we still had 2 more Lyrian Arbalists, which would have given another charge each time they were played, both to Vysogota and to the other Lyrian Arbalist. We still had Bloody Baron to take down whatever unit he boosted up as high as he wanted and do damage to it. And we haven't even used our Aguara, who's a 7-point play straight up, plus the boost to Vysogota, plus the additional boost that he's going to give with his ability. And she'll either remove a lock if he had played that, which it didn't look like he was going to, or she'd place a lock to shut down one of his better cards, which presumably he had some better card. You know, we didn't see anything higher than a 7 provision cost card with Anna Stranger and his 12 provision cost card with Vernon Roach. I take that back. He played Pavetta as well. I do not like the deck that he played. If you would like me to post my, I call it Vernon's Charge deck, let me know. I'm happy to put that up here as well and make a video about it. It is a total riot, very similar to this deck, but you use Vernon to just give a 1-2 punch in the first round. Then you can boost up those units using Anna Stranger or Vysogota, even if you want to put him out on the first round. I don't recommend it, but you can drop Vysogota and just clean house, and then go into final round with Seius and Bloody Baron to kind of shut down the opponent with big base point plays as well. But anyway, hope you guys had fun. Hope you enjoyed. As always, ask questions. I know this one was complicated for those of you who are just leaving the beginner videos and going into intermediate, but I think this gives you a good sense of where you want to be at. And I think that that's very important. As you don't want to get caught up in pulling one legendary card and thinking, oh, this one's fantastic, I'm totally going to use this. Like a Heroquax is a good one, or Unicorn is another good one. They have a very specific usefulness. And if you don't use it in that way, it's kind of a worthless card. You're going to be draining your provision points on a card that doesn't do you much good competitively. If you just want to have fun playing with them, go for it. My Vernon Roach deck is a little bit like that. It's just really fun to play with. But here, this deck is well-rounded. It's a total riot in the long run. and it's going to get you a lot of wins and help you push up high up into the ranking. So if you're somebody like me who's close to pro rank, this is a fantastic deck. It's been very streaky on the win side for me with relatively few losses. I think my win-loss ratio with this deck, after I've tweaked it past the Vernon Roach issue, has been like 4 out of 5 games. So fantastic win-loss ratio. Take that to the bank and cash it. But it's also just it's a bunch of fun. And I like having finally found a use for my Northern Realms. But if you've pulled a card, you want to know how to make it work, let me know. I'll focus my next video on how you can make that card work. And as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and get out there and go Gwenting.